a full window?
Well, the view options are standard, side-by-side speaker, or gallery. Oh, exit full screen. Got it.
Exit full screen, and then you'll be able to minimize to get to your document. You know what I mean?
It's good, yeah.
I basically teach Zoom in my spare time.
The reason I'm in
a private lesson.
The reason I'm in the HOJ today is when I tried to participate in the holiday party, no one could hear me.
Oh,
and I
bummer.
kept getting all of this advice about what I was doing wrong, but it turned out to be a hardware problem on the computer.
That's awesome.
Okay. They were able to fix it for me this morning. But it's very frustrating. Everybody, you know, I felt really inadequate. Everybody's, oh no, you got to do this, you got to do that. Oh, you're doing this wrong.
All right, did I stop sharing?
You did.
I did. I didn't intend to, but well, we're at about the time to. All right, just we'll wait another minute before we let the media in. I think we have all of our speakers. I'll just welcome as soon as we hit, 3 or 3:01, and then I'll introduce the Chief Justice, who then we'll turn it over to Justice Zara, and then to Judge Mayfield, and then to Ange. And then after that, we'll kind of see if there's other members of the task force who might have some comments or other things that they might want to say. And then we'll take questions after that. All right. I think we've got our media participants in the room. So we have, I think, Channel 4, and let's see who else we have, and a number of other media folks. Channel 6, I think, and in Michigan Now.
Yeah, yep. they're Flint area, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, and then we are live on YouTube. And there's Danielle. Welcome, Danielle.
Thank you. This is such a treat.
Hey, Danielle.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh, and there we have with the Free Press is coming on board.
Conferences now.
Okay. I think we are ready to begin. My name is John Nevin. I'm the Communications Director for the Michigan Supreme Court. And welcome to the release of the Justice for All Task Force Report. We have with us quite a number of members of the task force, and we also have Chief Justice McCormick, Justice Zara, and they'll be kind of leading off our presentation today, and then we'll also hear from Judge Mabel Mayfield, who's a member of the task force, and also from Angela Tripp, a member of the task force. And we're just going to wait one more minute. We've got a reporter from MLive joining. And we'll give Zara a chance to, in fact, his first name is Zara, Justice Zara.
Good.
Yeah. And so this report has been, 18 months in the making. There have been hundreds of participants, summit meetings, surveys. So it's really a grassroots effort from the very beginning, and it's a pretty exciting time for Michigan's justice system to see that we're taking these, very serious and very comprehensive steps to make sure that the virtual and physical doors of our courthouses are open to everyone. So. Okay. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Justice Bridget McCormick to get us going.
Thanks, John, and thank you all for joining us today. And I especially want to thank all the members of the Justice for All Task Force who've done tremendous work over the last 18 months. It's a great day to release the result of that work. It's Bill of Rights Day today, and I think that's a perfect day for telling Michigan what we've learned and what we're planning. Unlike in criminal cases where the Sixth Amendment guarantees everyone charged with a crime a lawyer, civil cases have no corollary. But of course, many civil proceedings can have very serious consequences for people, and the lack of access to justice also costs the rest of us. The rule of law is, after all, only a set of ideas that require our collective buy-in. And when access to justice is unequal, that buy-in is threatened. I want to first and foremost thank my colleague and my friend, Justice Brian Zara, for taking on this work and for his commitment and service as the court's representative and liaison to the task force, because the success of this effort is incredibly important, and the time and effort Justice Zara put in is why we're here. And in a minute, Brian himself will tell you more about what the task force found and what their recommendations are. But first, I want to highlight one civil justice issue that has dominated headlines for much of this last year, and that is how thousands of Michigan's poorest families have been threatened with losing their homes during the pandemic. We were all aware of state and federal moratoria that have prevented many of those evictions, and the court, working with community partners and with increased funding, launched an eviction diversion program early last summer. And while much of the attention has been paid to the $50 million in federal CARES Act funding that's helping tenants pay back rent in those cases, little attention has focused on $4 million additional dollars that went to legal assistance. In the great majority of landlord-tenant cases, landlords have lawyers and tenants do not. The Michigan State Bar Foundation, one of our partners in the task force, is administering the CARES Act legal aid funding and collecting data regarding outcomes. Yay, data. The data shows that tenants provided an attorney achieved positive results in 94% of cases. Keeping families in their homes, of course, keeps them in their jobs, keeps them providing for their families, paying their taxes, supporting their communities. And preventing evictions helps stabilize neighborhoods and promotes economic development. That's win-win for Michigan. Now imagine if we could duplicate the creative thinking of the eviction diversion program dozens of times over, tackling every civil justice issue from family law to elder abuse. Sometimes the answer is going to be more access to technology. We've seen the fruits of that over the last 9 months. Like the pioneering toolkits and other online legal resources that are helping 60,000 people each week in Michigan resolve their problems using the Michigan Legal Help site. Sometimes the answer is going to be regulatory reform, building on the steps we have already taken with limited scope representation to allow people to access exactly the legal services they need at an affordable cost. And sometimes the answer is going to be procedural, making our legal system simpler, easier to understand, more convenient, easier to access. Courts have to be welcoming places where people can solve problems and where everyone is treated with dignity and respect. The report we're releasing today is the map to a future where these ideas and many others are nurtured and where community organizations collaborate to help them bloom over and over again all across our state. We want to plan to get to 100% access to our civil justice system, and we want that plan to be steered by the people our justice system impacts most. But we also need continuing leadership. So the next step in this effort will be a Justice for All Commission that the court is hoping to launch early next year. Our colleagues on this Zoom meeting today did the hard work to do the inventory and develop the strategy. Now the commission will put these ideas to work for the people of our great state. Thank you again for being here. And I now want to turn it over to my colleague, Justice Brian Zara, with lots of gratitude for his hard work. Brian.
Oh, thank you, Chief. And thanks for the opportunity to work on this important project. Justice for All brings people together. The process and procedure of the legal system makes it difficult, if not at times impossible, for those without access to legal resources to get a fair shot. Justice for All is about leveling the playing field of our civil justice system. Justice for All has many different facets. For example, to a small business owner, Justice for All might mean the expeditious resolution of a contract dispute and getting paid so that the frontline employees can get paid. To a veteran, Justice for All might mean getting treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder. To an unemployed worker, Justice for All might mean getting access to benefits. to a battered spouse, Justice for All might mean quick and effective access to a personal protection order. To families in crisis, Justice for All might mean resolution of parenting or custody issues or help in addressing elder abuse. The list of possibilities go on and on. Regardless of the specific factual scenario, however, it's fair to say that Justice for All is the process of making our civil justice system accessible and understandable to our neighbors throughout our communities and to the people in every corner of Michigan. As a trial judge many years ago in Wayne County, I was struck by how many people came to court without legal representation. These were typically people who were very nervous, people concerned about protecting their legal interests. Oftentimes, these people didn't even have an understanding of why they were in court. They were just told to be there. Although I did my very best to connect unrepresented litigants with legal service agencies or pro bono lawyers, to my great disappointment, more often than not, I was unable to help these unrepresented parties. All too often, legal aid agencies, which, by the way, do an amazing job, were overloaded with cases and were unable to take on any more. As a result, people who had done nothing wrong often lost their case because they didn't have the information or the help they needed to obtain the most advantageous result that may have been available to them at that time. The bottom line is that there are a variety of obstacles that block good, hardworking people in need of legal assistance from obtaining the help they need. Last year, 7 in 10 low-income households had a legal problem, and the vast majority of these people had little or no help in resolving those problems. We launched this task force with an aspirational but lofty goal, a goal everyone can embrace: 100% access to our civil justice system. The strategic plan and inventory report we released today represents the culmination of countless hours of work to inventory resources, identify gaps and barriers, and create a roadmap to enhance access to justice now and to forge a path for the future. A path that, over time, will transform our aspirational goal of 100% access to justice for all into a reality. Speaking on behalf of my colleagues on the Michigan Supreme Court, we're exceedingly grateful to the task force and its work groups, and to hundreds of community stakeholders who came together and contributed to this comprehensive and vitally important project. Also, on behalf of the Michigan Supreme Court, I extend our deepest gratitude and appreciation to the National Center for State Courts for providing our task force with the structure and funding necessary to complete this initial project in the best way possible. I urge everyone to read this report and to join us in implementing the steps we suggest Michigan take to get on the road to 100% access to justice for all. We start with 4 overarching principles. We will create a positive service-based culture, which is measured by whether people who access our civil justice system believe they were treated fairly and respectfully, regardless of outcome. Our civil justice system provides peaceful resolution of disputes. By its very nature, though, there will be a winner and a loser. Justice for all does not guarantee that everyone will be a winner. Justice for all is accessed at making sure those without legal representation are treated with dignity and respect and obtain the most advantageous result possible given the law and facts applicable to their case. We will simplify and streamline processes, rules, and laws so the civil justice system is easier to navigate, understand, and use. This is no small matter and will require a collaborative effort from the Michigan bench and bar, our legislative leaders, and the many stakeholders across Michigan. We will make sure that people can get what they need when they need it. This will require a robust triage and referral system and the ability to efficiently connect people to the level of assistance they need. And we will reach out beyond the legal profession to work together with a diverse collaboration of community partners to identify and address legal problems at the earliest stage possible. We will exercise our best efforts to put in place educational tools to promote early intervention, because people can lessen the severity of their legal problems through education and early intervention. This report includes dozens of action steps in each of these categories. We have highlighted and prioritized the action steps we believe are necessary to best implement this plan. It is an ambitious plan, no doubt. And frankly, I'm always skeptical of big claims and predictions. But aiming big is the only way to advance our goals and achieve the outcomes the people of Michigan so richly deserve: a civil justice system that works for everyone. My colleagues and I are ready to work with anyone who will join this campaign to make Michigan a model for the nation. Now, I'm honored to turn the program over to Judge Mabel Mayfield, a highly valued Justice for All Task Force member and the Chief Judge of the Berrien County Circuit Court. Judge Mayfield.
Thank you, Justice Sarah. I acknowledge my trial court colleagues who are here and was honored when invited to serve alongside them as a member of the Justice for All Task Force. I have served for 21 years as a trial court judge in the family division of the court, gaining bench experience the 7 years prior serving as a juvenile court attorney referee. And for the first almost 10 years of my legal career, I represented litigants as a legal aid lawyer in Berrien County. I have seen firsthand the importance of and been committed to the principle of equal access to justice for almost 4 decades. As trial judges, we are daily required to make decisions based upon the facts, evidence presented before us. Self-represented and/or indigent litigants comprise minimally half, if not 80%, of my docket. Civil justice problems are many and varied, and a common experience for large segments of our communities. Examples include judges determining whether and the timing of when a family may lose their housing, whether a child will live with their parents or some other person, the care and management of vulnerable seniors, and whether the medical debt claimed is really owed. These are very important, potentially life-altering decisions. 100% of all litigants simply want assurance that their voice is heard before a decision is made, regardless of the outcome of their case. No litigant should lose with such weighty consequences at stake simply because they did not have the legal information they needed to provide the judge necessary or assistance necessary to effectively make their case. The work of the task force sets forth a bold, comprehensive plan to result in creating a more level playing field, more easily navigable, providing an equitable civil justice system for all. I would now like to introduce Angela Tripp, the Director of the Michigan Legal Help Program.
Thank you, Judge Mayfield. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm so glad you could join us on this exciting day where we can share with you the product of many months of work. I'm the director of the Michigan Legal Help Program, which provides information and tools to people who are facing legal problems on their own. The Michigan Legal Help website has informational articles, do-it-yourself tools to help people create legal documents, step-by-step directions for handling many types of legal problems, and the Guide to Legal Help, which people can use to learn more about what other resources, including attorneys, are available to them. Michigan Legal Help also works with communities around the state to open legal self-help centers where people can access computers, printers, internet, and navigators who can answer questions even without giving legal advice. Michigan Legal Help began in 2012 with the support of the justice community in response to the fact that in 3 out of 4 civil court cases, one or both sides are there without legal help, often because they can't afford an attorney. It's not just in Judge Mayfield's court, it's in courts across the state. While Michigan Legal Help provides a great deal of guidance and many supportive tools, it's also important that we look at simplifying legal processes because complex courtroom procedures are a common barrier to justice. We identify this as a barrier, not a gap, because the problems are ones that have been created by the system. Through the work laid out in the strategic plan, we will break down these barriers. We envision a justice system where people can meaningfully engage and access tools to address their problems, regardless of their level of income or experience. We hope you'll find our report informative and inspiring, and we're very grateful to our consultant, Lisa Colpoys, for guiding the task force and helping us to arrive at this point. There are 2 parts to this report. The first part is a strategic plan, which sets out a vision for the future and goals to achieve that vision. The second part is the inventory report, which is a thorough assessment of the available services in Michigan, including the gaps and barriers to access that we have identified. The inventory section of the report also serves as a baseline evaluation of the current state of available services, which is not only important to know, but gives us a way to measure progress in the future. The inventory process the task force engaged in provided the data that informed the development of the strategic plan. None of the 15 civil justice system components that were assessed as part of this process were rated as sufficient or advanced. Using the rating system and standards set forth by the National Center for State Courts, the task force rated progress on these components on a scale, and 9 of the components were rated as partial, 5 as minimal, and 1 as none. This doesn't mean that everything about our civil justice system is flawed. It just means that we judged our resources with a critical eye and set high standards for the future for our state. The overarching goal of this work is 100% access. And that does not mean that 100% of people get an attorney to represent them. That is not practical, and I'd argue not necessary. Instead, we need to build a strong continuum of resources so people can get what they need when they need it to resolve their problems. We need different kinds of help for different people in different situations. The strategic plan sets out tactics to achieve this: simplified processes, increased resources, new and innovative models of service delivery, and a shared framework for collaboration. Throughout the work of the Justice for All Task Force, we engaged a broad group of stakeholders through town hall meetings, public surveys, focus groups, stakeholder surveys, and work groups. This will also be critical to the future success of our new Justice for All Commission, making sure that all changes are assessed with a consumer-focused lens, including gathering and analyzing quality data, and engaging in user testing. By continuing to work with a broad group of community partners and voices, we have created a structure and a framework for ensuring that the voices of the people using the justice system are included as we seek to reform our civil justice system. Now I'm going to turn it back over to Chief Justice McCormick.
How is it that 10 months into Zoom, I'm still like not getting my unmute button correctly? Thank you all. And I want to see if there are any other members of the task force who have additional comments to make before we take some questions. And if you want to, you can just unmute yourself. I know I was told to tell you to raise your hand, but you can just unmute yourself and speak.
Chief Justice McCormick, I would like to say something. I'm Ashley Lowe. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Lakeshore Legal Aid, and we provide free legal services to poor people in the Detroit metro region. I've been a legal aid attorney for 20 years and have been really involved recently in the eviction diversion program that you mentioned at the beginning of the presentation. And I think one thing I take away from this current situation is really what you can see what happens when you bring courts and lawyers and social service agencies together and try to help people resolve their problems, not focus on the boundaries that we have set up or the ways that we've always done things, but looking at how can we help people really resolve what they need. And so that has been a really great learning experience for me. It's really been an honor to be on part of this commission and looking at the things we've been thinking about. How can we really look big and think outside the box? And so I'm honored to be a part of it and really looking forward to all the great things to come.
Thank you, Ashley. Thanks for your work on the task force and thanks for those comments. Are there other members who would like to add anything?
I'd just like to say briefly, I'm Jennifer Bentley, the Executive Director of the Michigan State Bar Foundation, and it's really been an honor to serve on the task force along with partners at the Supreme Court and State Bar of Michigan and community stakeholders, judges, legal aid programs, and working with so many partners to come up with innovative solutions and suggestions and recommendations to move forward. And I know we will create a successful commission to implement this plan, and really appreciate the ability to serve on the task force. Thank you.
Thank you also, Jennifer, for your work. Any other comments? Well, John Nevin is going to moderate questions, and we can turn to that now. I just want to thank everybody one more time and say it's pretty exciting. I really think Michigan has an opportunity to be a national leader in how we serve the public in our civil justice system, and the work that people assembled here have done are what makes me really confident about that. So I'm very excited.
Perfect. Thank you, Chief Justice McCormick. So if there are quite a number of reporters that are with us. If there's anyone who wants to ask a question right now, please raise your hand. I guess folks are being shy, or I'm not seeing that. Or I should just unmute everyone maybe and see what happens then. Maybe that would work better. By the way, let's see. How do I even know? I'm not sure I know how to do that. So let's maybe folks can connect. I guess we don't have anyone wanting to ask a question immediately, but if there's folks who do have questions afterwards, please email me and we can connect with you directly. Chief Justice, did you have a?
I was unmuted against my will, but I'm very happy to be unmuted one more time. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. Thank you for tuning in. If you do have follow-up questions, we are available to answer them at any time. In fact, we're eager to answer them, and we're eager to show the rest of the country what Michigan's going to accomplish next. So thank you all for your work. Really grateful to you.
And I just want to give a quick shout out to Jennifer Bentley from State Bar Foundation, Angela Tripp from Michigan Legal Help, and Lisa Colpoys, who helped guide us through this whole process. These are people who've dedicated their life to these issues and really put their heart and soul into this, kept this project moving, made my job, quite frankly, Chief, much easier than I anticipated it would be. It was a real honor to watch great people work together. And I thank everyone on the commission, but particularly Lisa, Jennifer, and Angela for your hard work. I'm looking forward to see how our planning comes to fruition.
Terrific. Thank you, everyone. And like the Chief Justice said, if you've got other questions, please let us know, and we're happy to answer them. I sent around a link to the report to everyone who's on the Zoom. And there's more information at the website, which is courts.michigan.gov/justice for all. So thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.